Good morning, everyone. Kris here with Inspired Energy and joining me, Hartwell. Good morning, Hartwell.
Good morning, Kris. Good morning, everyone.
So, we're continuing our little snippets into human design. And one of the topics that you brought up was you've called it the daily view. So, how can human design enhance our day to day lives? So, that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
Okay. So, where do we start and what do we need to do to use these tools and this system?
Well, back when the founder of human design was alive, Ra Uru, he, for many years, he did a broadcast, kind of a radio show, or I don't know if it was a radio show or a podcast, but anyway, a daily show, and he called it the Daily View. And in it, he would, I've only listened to a few, but he would talk about what the current transits were, and especially, of course, where the sun and the earth were. Remember from previous chats, the sun and earth represent 70% of the programming that actually runs your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so the sun and earth are always a pair. So we speak about them together in a way, with the sun being foremost. So for instance, today, the sun is in gate 19, and the earth, which is exactly opposite, them being in opposition always, is in gate 33.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What does that mean?
Well, before I get to that, let me just say how easy it can be for you to, if you want to explore this and see if it makes a difference to the way you live your life, all you need to do is this is only one potential option. There are many others, but you can go for free to the Jovian Archive website, and very visible right on the front page, they have, I think, a button or a drop-down menu, or even it's right there when you open it up, that says just now. So that means if you press on that, you get a chart for the exact moment that you're visiting that website. And then you can easily see what gate the sun is in and what line it's in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we start. So for instance, today, as an example, the sun is in gate 19, line 4. And the earth would be in gate 33, line 4. And the sun moves through every gate in 5 or 6 days. So 5 and a fraction days is how long it takes to go through one gate. Okay. So as an example, using the 19, gate 19 is called, it's down in the root center. And so it's a pressure.
I know it's the one I'm missing.
Yes. It's the pressure to fuel. It's a pressure that fuels two needs in human life: the need to have access to our basic needs, such as shelter, food, and sex, and our need for spirit, our need for connection to a spiritual way of being.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called the gate of wanting, or the gate of approach.
Mm-hmm.
And so anybody who has this gate, it brings awareness to what everyone needs in order to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so with the sun being in gate 19, that might be a theme floating around in the collective consciousness for these few days.
Mm-hmm.
And a fourth line day, and we've spoken about this now from a couple of different perspectives, but the fourth line is the line of the opportunist. Right. It's the line of networking within your community and being influential amongst that network of known people. It's friendly. It's about human resource skills. So what that would suggest, and gate 33, the gate of privacy, is about processing processing our experience. And as we process it, we learn what is valuable about experience, and then we want to share it after we processed it.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the themes that are arising in these today. And so you could say to yourself, okay, today would be a good day for networking. Today would be a good day to connect with my friends, the people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if I want to expand my network, I need to expand it through people I already know.
So is that only people that have gate 19, or is that also for people that don't? Or do people that don't have that gate, do they seek out someone that does to help them during those 5 days?
Very good questions. No, with the Sun and Gate 19, those themes are affecting all of us. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to have it in your body graph. Although if you have its opposite gate, that is the gate that would make it a channel, which is 49,
Mm-hmm.
then so if you have the 19 without the 49, or sorry, if you have the 49 without the 19,
Mm-hmm.
you might experience a kind of connection happening because of the Sun being in gate 19. And so that
Mm-hmm.
would be worthwhile to notice, especially if you have gate 49 in an undefined solar plexus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yes, it can be a good way. It can be very useful to track when the Sun is in a gate opposite a gate that you have. So if you have
Mm-hmm.
49, you can be interested, oh, what will happen when 19 goes through that?
Mm-hmm.
But this is for everyone. Whether you
Okay.
have 19 or not, you might feel that those themes are somehow being brought into your awareness.
So it's almost like an astrology forecast where those are the energies that are affecting your sign today or everybody's sign, right? Because that planet is in a certain position. So that's what,
Yes,
kind of what you're saying. Okay.
yes. And just as an interesting example, yesterday I had a client, and out of that session came a couple of things I wanted to check out. So often when clients come to me, something arises in our conversation where they have something to take away with them in terms of how to work on themselves, what to study, what might be useful in their journey.
Yeah,
And of
I
course,
think I know which client you're talking about because they also came out and were sharing with me like what type of books I should order and things like that, and I think it was all about the subject that you were speaking about, which was creativity, I believe. So
yes,
it's interesting that once you get on that track, you just follow the bone, right?
right. But in some ways that feels 19ish.
Mm-hmm.
What resources do we need
Mm-hmm.
to live our lives well, and how do we connect with spirit
Mm-hmm.
more effectively? So, and I also became aware of a book that is very much about talking about the current times we're in and how to navigate it well. And so, in this current conversation about 19 and about 4, I mean, yesterday, of course, the Sun would have been in gate 3,
Mm-hmm.
but um, I'm feeling the energy of that 19. I mean, I do have it natally, I do have it in my body graph.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's how you play with it and see if it resonates for you. Now, I'm an astrologer and human design analyst, as you know, as everyone knows, because that's what we're talking about. And, I do not pay a lot of attention to the minutiae of the astrological transits. I'm not always constantly following Mercury and Venus and the moon. Um, I haven't been drawn to it. I haven't found it to be particularly important to me, but I know that some people do. And so what we're talking about today helps with that.
Mm-hmm.
You can try it out for yourself and see if that grounds you, helps you, enhances your life.
Mm-hmm.
So having said that, let's go over the basic principles of all the
Mm-hmm.
lines so that you can think, okay, Today's a fourth line today. Tomorrow will be a fifth line day, and following that a sixth line day. So what could we potentially expect? So first of all, the first line is the line of the investigator. So there's an element there that relates to fear, insecurity, and the insecurity makes us want to investigate. So for instance, on a first line day, you might say, I'm feeling insecure. And then as a result of that insecurity, you might want to investigate things. So the first line day is good for investigation, digging into things, finding the truth. Sometimes,
So,
yes, Kris?
so you're saying that these 6 lines are that gate moves through like day one, that gate is it comes into play, and then on the second day that gate is in play, it's line 2, and it runs through the 6 lines, and then it goes into the next gate.
Correct.
Oh, okay. So every day it's almost like a week. You check the forecast every day, and every day you're dealing with a different type of energy that relates to that gate.
Yes.
Okay.
So you'd say, oh, this is a first line day, dot, 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 dot. And a first line day, you might say, this is a day to focus on a project.
Mm-hmm.
This is a day to investigate things. This is a day, where you want to dive into something and you don't want to come up for air. You don't want to have too much interaction with people. Don't bother me. I'm doing research.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to deal with this insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
On a second line day, which is the hermit line, you want to do your own thing. Which is a little bit different than don't bother me, I'm doing research. This is more about being in your own energy, enjoying your own time with yourself. There's a discomfort with the expectation of others on a second line day, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
But the second line also doesn't want to take sides, because that just, so it's a day to be diplomatic, potentially. Avoid taking sides, don't get positional.
Mm-hmm.
On a third line day, the martyr line comes into effect. This is a trial and error day. This is a day where you might screw up things. So this is a day when you might learn a lot from your mistakes, where your mistakes might lead to breakthroughs. It's a day where maybe you can create change, because third lines are catalysts for change, and the third line deals with material way. So this is a day when you're going to be quicker to recognize opportunities. Maybe some of your errors end up being serendipitous errors that lead you to a breakthrough. This can also be a day of bonds made and broken. It's because that's the theme of the third line. It's like, oh, you form a real bond, or something happens and things fall apart on you.
Mm-hmm.
So the third is quite dynamic. The fourth line day, like today, we've talked about that. It's a day to be friendly, to be networking, to be embracing community, and to be exerting your influence within your communities. It's a day to manage and deal with people problems, and to maybe get together and be, have a sense of camaraderie with people.
Mm-hmm.
A fifth line day is the heretic line. It's about fixing things, universalizing them. It's about teaching. It might be a good day to deal with crises. It could be a good day for marketing, because the fifth line is influential. With the fifth line day, you want to be practical, and you want to make sure that you're giving value beyond, above and beyond what you've promised.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do promise things, if you are involved in some kind of legal issues, make sure that you don't get trapped into over-promising things. Be wary of expectations.
Mm-hmm.
On a sixth line day, the role model day, this is a day to be optimistic, to look for the big picture. Don't get caught up in the details that you do on a first line day. On a sixth line day, you look for the bigger picture, you brainstorm, you you look, you don't focus on the trees. You look for, what are the general parameters? This is a day when you might want to dissociate from people and isolate from them. But, it's best if you don't.
Yeah.
It's best if you include yourself and sort of take in and see, seek to be authentic and seek to be objective. That's kind of a sixth line energy.
So how do we put all of that together, right, to actually use it to experiment on being ourselves?
Well, given that the foundational premises of human design is differentiation, i.e., we're all unique, that means that you have to figure out how these things land for yourself. We have to be willing to enter into the experiment of being ourselves, using our decision-making strategies, and gradually over time discerning what is us and what is not us, so that we can be more us. So this is another tool. I mean, check it out. See if it works. See if it adds value to your life. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Maybe 6 months or a year and a half from now, maybe following the daily view will be helpful. So, I mean, I'm not making any huge claims for this. Oh my God, this is the best thing to do ever. I never say that to anyone. Try it out, see if it resonates. So basically what you would need to do is have a way of finding out where a just now chart. Then you would have to maybe invest in some material or a books that give you the meanings of the lines, the meanings of the gates. So then you combine the meaning of the gate with the meaning of the line. So these 5 and a bit days, 5 and a fraction days are, gate 19. What does that mean? And then combine that. Okay. Focusing on my own needs, essential needs, and our needs for spirit. These are the things. It's a community gate, part of the community channel. These are the themes that you would play with, and you could use as some sort of baseline for a contemplation. Even if it's like 5 or 10 minutes.
So it's a place for people to start. Well, I think that was it's good to give people tools so that they have some place to start, because most people feel a bit overwhelmed because it is such a big subject. So that's just a little tidbit that you've dropped to everybody today. So is there anything else that you want to share with us about what you're up to, or?
Well, what I would say from my point of view is that I'm not good at coming up with labels necessarily, but if I was to play with a label today, I would say I am a practical esotericist. I want to deliver information from these esoteric subjects, numerology, tarot, astrology, human design. But my orientation is toward what is practical and what could actually make a difference for you. So, I mean, I have services you can check out on Clair-i-tea. I have a couple of courses that you could subscribe to, a human design course and an astrology course. And it's still to be determined, but indicate if you have interest. That would be useful to us. But I'm thinking of coming up with some kind of a monthly discussion group of some kind, and it might be useful for me to know what people are wanting. Whatever focus I do choose to come to, it's going to be one of the things I consider most practical in life, Kris, is we need to align with our own uniqueness. Otherwise, we're not giving our true gifts to the world. So to me, that's a very practical thing. And it's not academic or sort of fluff at all. It's very real and very clear. So that's what I want to say.
Perfect. So with that, I guess we'll sign off. We'll say God bless, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Enjoy the day, enjoy the weather, and thanks for joining us.